individualized goal setting. We have found in our lab that these individuals get it about what they want to do. But has anybody really ever asked for it?
They can hopefully, with assistance, maybe draw. They can also maybe with technology help teach. And so this is a 5-step process for yoga. It's not your typical, I'm going to bring you into my classroom, everyone gets a yoga mat, and we're all going to do yoga for 40 minutes. Because for students with autism, structure is a big concern. They want to know when they're doing it, how long they're doing it, and why they're doing it. So, first we break it down in 5 steps, 10 minutes each. The activity first thing in yoga, in all yoga classes, is pranayama, or your breathing techniques and breathing exercises. And for week 1, we have Om, Ah, E, S, da 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 da, S, Ha, and Ha. Okay, so you're working on those breathing techniques only for the first 10 minutes. If your conversation flows to a different breathing technique, you take it where the student allows you. And so you're focusing solely on breathing for 10 full minutes. We know that when you focus on breathing, your stress levels decrease, your anxiety levels decrease. Draw those poses like this. So this is a girl, Eleanor, who was drawing her poses, right, on her own yoga board. And you can make yoga boards for them, you can make journals for them. And the good thing about yoga is that you can draw those poses yourself with your stick figures. You don't have to buy, you don't have to print things out. As you can see, I didn't have to print anything out. I just bought paper and posted it up. After you draw the poses, you have the students teach each other. So after they write the things down or draw the poses, you can help them in any way, shape, or form if they can't draw, if they can't write, or if they can't speak. And you can kind of help them say, okay, we're gonna go ahead, I want my other students to sit down, and I want one of my other students to say with autism to teach the other student with autism. And they'll look at their paper, what they just draw, and they might say, downward dog. And the student may or may not do downward dog, and I might ask the teacher, I might say, well, what can you tell them, what can you help them with downward dog? Give them a cue. They might say, knees off the ground. And then you're looking for that as learning. So they're not only learning, they're teaching, and they're drawing, they're putting it all together. And at the end, we go into breathing relaxation techniques such as columns. But usually I'll have a whiteboard set up, and I'll have plastic fruits and vegetables, and plastic unhealthy foods. And what I would have the student do is scoop down, all the way down, either on the bottom, on the stomach, or in their chair with a lacrosse stick, so they can pick it up if they needed to. They go down and say, all right, go get a healthy food and put it in the basket. I want you to put all the bad food and put it in the trash. Have maybe a trash can set up, literally a trash can. Put it in there, throw it out. So reaffirming that, go down, get the healthy foods, get it back. And then we have a whiteboard set up. All right, let's go ahead and draw that fruit. Let's go ahead and draw that vegetable. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Maybe have your My Plate set up on a whiteboard. Very interactive. So if you're learning health and nutrition, it's not only going to be physical, but it can be cognitive too. Oh, I don't want to get on the scooter. I don't want to get on the ground, but I will draw. I will write about it. So using a whiteboard in your class is probably one of the best things I've added to my class in the past couple of years. So. They love interacting with colors and shapes and sounds, obviously, as we know. But we'll go ahead and go to the sports section. And I just brought some stuff that I typically use. If you are going to go into tag games and you don't have noodles, but you do have football straps or football flag tags, this is what I like to use. We've played adapted football with our students. It is a process to set up the game, but it is a great game to play with all abilities. Even students with chairs, students with lower functioning autism, have a fun time playing football, chasing after the flags. And it's also a safe way too, right? We're not pushing anyone over when we're tagging anyone. I have a lot of different types of balls here and different objects. Obviously, I don't know if you've used these with students who have lower functioning psychomotor skills or students with cerebral palsy. It might work on their grasp and release skills, pulling it off, but not only that, maybe tossing it to a partner. Okay, so these are little things that you can do. I know that if the student's in a chair, they might be able to use a typical ball, so maybe they might not want to use a big ball and they want to use the same ball that everybody else is using. This is something that they can use if they can reach with it. These are also, I'm not sure what these are called. What's that? Broom ball sticks? Okay. But these are a very good tool in our adaptive PQ room.
Until they start hitting each other.
Until they start hitting each other. Tapping the scarf like it's a toe tap. Okay? You can do some magic feet around it. Okay? You can run around it if you want to. Okay? You can go ahead and pick it up. Go around the world. Around the world, nice and easy, right? Okay? Give a kid a soccer ball, you say, all right, around the world, and he might drop it 10 times before he gets it around. So that's why I love these scarves, because this is really good for the shoulders. You can go into what I call scissors. Okay, scissors here. Okay? And around the world, you can progress to around the knees, around the waist, around the head. One thing I have is called crab catch. So twist, turn, and touch. Twist, turn, and touch. And as you progressively go faster, you try to catch it before it touches the ground. So go ahead and try that. Crab catch. Twist, turn, touch. Twist, turn, touch. Students, when it comes to hand-eye coordination, maybe even writing the cues on the balloon for them, talking about the strings, the head of the racket, the grip, maybe the sweet spot, okay? Typically, I like to use rackets that have the string around the wrist so that they're not flying all over the place. That's number one. The first thing you teach when you're teaching racket skills is definitely getting that strong grip, right? So you might even practice that strong grip. Okay, let go, grab it, let go, grab it. And another thing I like to use for grasp and release skills is noodles. Squeeze them as hard as you can. It really strengthens your forearm muscles for that grasp and release skill. We know that's going to be the biggest issue for some of the students, just holding a racket. It's just that grip and strength. Some people want to say, hey, get a racket, get a tennis ball right away. I try to use, can you throw me a poly spot? I say, first thing I teach, doesn't matter what skill level or ability level, I always use a poly spot first. Why? Because it's always going to stay there. It's not going to roll off. Okay? 100% success rate. All they got to do is hold the racket. Flip the pancake. Okay? Stuff like that. You can balance it on your head if you're practicing balance. Lots of things you can do. Same thing with the jerseys and the pennies. I have a student who has autism. He's constantly shaking his head, right? So what we did is all right, put a poly spot on your head, try to balance it. And all of a sudden, his head stopped shaking. But it would come off, go, all right, you gotta try to keep your head still. So over time, we're trying to see how long can he keep that without falling. And any locomotor skill can happen here. You can have the student take a beanbag or a jersey and maybe toss it through. So working on some of those types of skills. I know Ann Hughes is here, she's an adaptive physical educator. She uses a, it's on the side of the house, shutters, or not shutters.
Gutters.
Shutters. But she'll use gutters for rolling things. So if she's got a student in a chair, she might have them push a ball through the gutter, through whatever your objective is, okay? And then, okay. So you got your students in chairs, you got your students that, might not like to run, don't have the leg strength, maybe just had knee surgery. I had knee surgery, so I had to develop a lot of different cardiovascular activities. I'm 31, I'm thinking, well, I can't run, what am I going to do? So you got to keep your heart rate up sometimes, so maybe it's just literally, is that hard to hold? You can hold it for them, just like battle rope, just slam it down, up and down. Usually, like I said, I have it. Okay. So just little things that you can do. Poly spots, making pathways. We talk about pathways in PE, zigzag pathways, curl pathways. Okay, I want you to find a red hot spot. Go ahead and stand on it. Go ahead and find a yellow spot. All of a sudden, they're running around. Okay? Maybe they don't like to physically run because they don't like the idea of it. But this is another activity that you can have students say, all right, run to green. They run to green. Run to yellow. All right, how fast can you do that next time? Same with those skills. They're not interested in skill, but they like time. They like numbers. You might say, all right, I'm going to see how many times you can get that start around your waist in 10 seconds. Ready? And then simple. It could just be as simple as just walking through it without touching anything. Right? And then maybe 2 feet. Okay? And then it might be a hop in and a hop out. Okay? And it might be just a hop. Okay? And it might be a backward. It might be a backward. Okay? And it could be a side hop. Okay? I do this. I personally train a lot of clients. There's a very high functioning skill. But what would you do if you had a student in chair, but he wanted to do it somehow? Well, what we did is we take 2 ladders. Imagine 2 ladders, and we have that student take beanbags and drop beanbag in the ladder while he's going by. Or we take a noodle and he's got a tap in between the ladders. So we're not excluding anybody. We can use all these activities. You just got to learn and just, sometimes you got to think on the fly. How am I going to add this person? They can't do this. Well, there's ways you can do it. You just got to think harder. If the student's in a chair, you can give them their own section, and they can just kind of kick it to themselves in that section. Not only are they with their classmates that are also stepping, but you can get them doing those skills. And then after that, it might just be a step just like this, right? And we know that it's not going to happen overnight, but we do want to have it in our gym, ready to go, even if they're not there, because we do have different programs that allow certain students to come, and sometimes we don't know who's going to be there. We just want to be ready for everything. Balls with the ring sound in them. Anybody ever play goal ball before? Ever hear goal ball? Under their face, and it's pretty much you stand up and they go pretty hard, don't they? And they roll it to the other side. The other team has to try to stop it. So it's a good game for if you're teaching physical educators, or if you want to know what it's like to have a disability, put a blindfold on, you play a game called goal ball. So you have maybe 4 people on this side, 4 people on that side. You're trying to roll it across, and while you're blindfolded, you're trying to stop it. Okay, so these are also good for some of our girls in chairs because they like the sensory perception, right? If you're in a chair, if they're in a chair, just making those sounds, okay, will get their arms moving. We know that music is one of the best things for students in chairs if you're not in the pool. We know that students in chairs love to dance. You've got to have music for our students in chairs. What we like to do with students in chairs as well is have them sit down on a ball like this, and you might hold on to their hand, you might stand behind them, it might be just a bounce. And we know that bouncing, for some reason, stimulates your nervous system, your immune system, your circulatory system, and so just getting them on that ball, maybe even doing it for them, is shaking things up, right? So just think, could you imagine sitting hours and hours and hours a day? If they're not moving or if they're not doing anything, it's just going to get digressively worse over time. So when I see a student in a chair, first thing I know it's going to be a little safer for me. Person taking punches, that's the first thing you want to worry about is yourself, right? Because they might take the time to take a swing at you. No, I've gotten swung at once. But what I would say is, all right, I want you to hit the sweet spot right in the center of the bag here. So I want you to face me. Feet are about hip width. Bend the knees in the ready position. Bend the elbows. And I just want you to first practice. Don't practice on the bag first. Practice in the air first. So you can go ahead and just think of that spot. Elbows in, all the way back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After 10, reset. Okay, so you got to have that reset. If you say, all right, go ahead and punch it, you might just go as fast as they can. You might might get overwhelmed, so you want to have a set pace goal before you just say, all right, let's go ahead and punch. Because when you put gloves on, emotions start flying, Rocky starts playing in their head. Things I want you to just back off. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Completes that. Okay, let's do that 2 more times. You complete that instead of 3. You can have different objectives. Okay, now you're talking about hand-eye coordination. Now you're going up a little bit level in skill. So we're going up a little bit higher in skill. So I might add in a little component. So I might say, all right, left, 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 right, right, and then left, right, left. Left, right, left. Reset. Okay? Let's try that again. Left, left, right, right, left, right, left. Reset. Okay? And then that we would call it, I call it A. You can make up your own. And we have a lot of different things you can take as well.